Ah, worst.
Hello. We've had no sound. Really sorry about that. I'm really sorry, guys. Like, intensely and majorly sorry. I don't know why.
So you guys missed all those good jokes. Now, from now on, they'll just be bad jokes.
Yeah, exactly. Unsubscribe. Done. We're done.
Well, you're not getting your waffles now.
Yeah. See, there was free waffles on order with a...
Oh, no, shit. No waffles. Don't know what you're talking about. Gone. Mm-hmm. Oh.
Yeah.
The lip readers in the audience are like, waffles? Yes! I was like, nope.
Wow. Okay. Seriously, there was just like so much suck right there. Sorry about that.
So, for those who were missing it, we have Lord Carl as our guest.
We have us. Okay, so it's me, Darren. We've got Andrea over there. We've got Brad over here. And then over here on the side we have Lord Carl. He is our resident lizard person.
Hey.
Like literally, he is a lizard. But, yeah.
In the best way. His butt falls off when he's scared.
Yeah. This is what happens.
Ah, yes. Very quick.
So.
The future is now for lizard people.
So yeah, as we're saying today, we will be discussing the Seraphon Battletome and how cheese it is. Actually, how lovely it is. It's adds some real interesting stuff to it. And yeah, we will be talking about... I don't know, now we would normally talk about what news it was for the week. Was there any news this week? There was a lot of 40k news. What?
Oh, for Tau. Yeah, everyone was sad. And very sad for respect and to weep. I mean, those are wrong, but like, sure.
No, we're not.
We're not doing this. We're talking Seraphon. So this week, for Age of Sigma was Luminous Realm Lords. That they got released, so they are available at a store near you.
Okay.
No, yeah, place your orders, really.
For some reason, we can't hear Carl or Andre. Yeah.
Are you
Carl? Speaker?
recording the mic again? Yeah, I can hear you.
I can hear you.
So is it the Discord or is it? Yep.
And now?
Keep talking, guys.
I'll just keep talking, shall I?
Yes.
Hi guys, how's everyone doing?
So what have you been painting, Carl?
It's okay. Woo, so now it seems like we do have all technical things resolved.
Hey, good.
Yes, we were talking about what news it was this week. Andrea made salty noises because he was talking about some weird fish people. Don't worry, we don't care about the news that happened this week. We're moving into more interesting stuff.
Fish people.
No.
Aren't they more like frogs?
Yes. Seraphon. So going back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Here's the segue.
Have
You can thank me later.
Send you a waffle. Yeah. So have you been painting? Have you had a chance to paint your guys? Much over lockdown?
No, I have not. I've been slowly but surely looking and collating at how much I actually have to paint, and I picked up some of the new contrast paints to make it a lot easier.
Mm-hmm.
There is, I've got I think 120 Saurus Warriors, of which 40 are painted. So I just need to sit down and.
I know a guy who has an airbrush,
Yeah.
and you can run contrast through an airbrush. So when you can, I can give you the contact of this guy, and he can help you out. Really.
Well, thank you.
Andrea, up your volume a bit. Well, yeah.
How do I up my volume?
Use.
We can hear him fine, alright? Or he's a bit soft on the earphones, but in.
I can get closer.
No.
Just
Can't
face.
you adjust the settings?
Oh god. Okay. Now that we have some of those technical issues resolved.
Hopefully, in a week's time, I'm gonna have my Bluetooth adapter to this thing all the way in the microphone. Sorry.
Okay. Now
Because you can click on Discord and adjust the volume
Slightly
and stuff. for each person, I think, as well. I know I was chatting to... Yeah, it's probably in your Windows settings you'd have to adjust.
No, he's better now. He's good.
Okay.
So, what were you saying about the... Okay, so yeah, nothing good happened this week when it came to news. Let's be honest, nothing good happened. It was just a whole bunch. Yeah, the Lumineth Lords, they came out. They're amazing.
Yeah, they're looking very scary, so we'll
Very.
all have to prepare our pants for them.
Your pants?
Apart
Specifically,
from Seraphon,
they're gonna kick them.
Seraphon, that's my belief. Seraphon are the key to counter Lumineth Lords.
I think
Yeah, it's two different spectrums of light just hitting each other. It cancels each other out. It's fine.
Makes a like Dark Side of the Moon alt cover.
Yeah.
seriously?
Perfectly reasonable.
Did
Very
you just make a Pink Floyd reference for nice? You heard
It's
it
the
here.
only album I know.
It's the only album anyone knows.
Good
Album
times.
cover.
Oh look, we have the usuals jumping in today. Hey Melody, how you doing? We've got Gavin, Travis, Jinx Kitties jumped in as well. People, good to see you all. And yeah, let's see. We will be discussing tonight. The order of progress for it will be we'll be discussing some hobby progress. We'll go over the Seraphon lore, the allegiance abilities and changes and stuff like that that's gone over. Units that stand out to us. We'll go over some cool army lists, and then we will pretty much ask again if anyone here has figured out what army Andrea is going to be starting next, because no one has guessed it yet. And remember the prize for that, if you figure out what army he is about to start, well, might start sometime this year, then you get to join us for a game and actually be online with us. Or some
First game I play
with
that
them.
army.
Yes. Yeah.
So you get a chance to beat him. I mean, just one game. It's fine.
Yeah. You get one game. That's all you get. Hey Nomi, thanks for joining.
Cool. So hobby progress. We actually kind of got into that a little bit with Kyle's lack thereof.
Carl doesn't have a lack thereof. Seriously, what you got there?
This painting. We were just talking about.
Oh yeah, we were talking about the fact that he had
We've got the Connoisseur Old Blood.
Yay.
You're one of my prize ones.
Oh, very
And
cool.
we've got the Skeleton himself,
The Skeleton. Lord Croak.
good old Lord Croak, on his palanquin.
Nice. Good times. What do you...
But the majority of the army is still in shades of grey. But that's only because I run like 120 Saurus Warriors, so...
Yeah, oh,
They
goodness.
haven't been coalesced yet. They are still.
Yeah. They're still up in the air.
Andrea, what have you been busy with?
I started painting Velacor.
So show everyone that one there.
Yeah.
There we go. There's the
I
Bellicor that
did
he's been
some
doing.
Imperial Knight weapons, and then I started painting Velacor because Velacor. I mean, it's
Yeah,
just a
he's-
fantastic model.
Flipping gorgeous there. Me, I did some Keeper of Secrets long ago, and I just thought, hey, let me show it. There.
Oh, you got a picture of it.
Yeah. And Brad?
I've been just painting Savage or Arrow Boys. Continuing the
Boys.
horde. Forever and ever and ever. So, yeah, so.
Then, yeah. I can't remember what else we were doing. Why are we doing this today?
Why are we alive? Let's have these
Exactly,
deep
what is it?
conversations. Who are we? What are we? When are we?
That's
This seems appropriate, though, to a bunch of star lizards, though.
at 12 past 6.
It's like, huh? This is jump forward 8 hours, 2 o'clock in the morning. We're having a discussion about.
I got work in the morning. I can't risk that.
Okay, well, so as we said, we were going to be discussing the Seraphon, and basically, Lord Carl, who are the Seraphon?
the Seraphon are one of the few like survivors from the world that was. They all kind of they were just lizard folk originally, created by the Old Ones to enact some mysterious plan, the Great Plan that the Slann have been trying to follow as best they can remember, because they've kind of forgotten a lot of what the Great Plan really was. Either because they made themselves forget because it was so traumatizing that they couldn't risk remembering it, or they've just forgotten through the aeons. And when the world that was got blown up by chaos, you know, back in the before times that we don't speak of, the Seraphon were just the lizard men who got into their Aztec temples that became ancient alien-style spacecraft and kind of just went away, left everyone else to their own different fates, and they floated through the what is it called, the void, the aether void, for goodness knows how long, and eventually their ship started to run out of power and the heat started to die. So the Slann put most of the lizard folk into basically suspended animation until they could find a way to somewhere that they could settle down. And then the actual lore kind of gets a little bit mysterious. It goes in that we don't really know what happened, and the Seraphon aren't really volunteering explanations. But it seems to do with Dracathoin, the god beast. Something happened. Either he breathed life into them again, or he guided them to the mortal realms, or maybe the Slann helped make the mortal realms. We're not too sure. But they arrived, and they are infused with the stuff of the heavens. They are part of Azir, and they're still up there in these temple ships, cruising around, and seem to have been pulling strings all over the mortal realms throughout their history. There's some really cool stuff about how they have been around since the Age of Myth, and there are accounts where they gave primitive societies technology that helped them out along the way, and they allowed these primitive societies to kind of flourish so that they would combat chaos later on. And a lot of those societies eventually yielded heroes that became Stormcast Eternals, which I think was a nice tie-in.
That's actually that's badass. Yeah, that's really cool.
There are like different accounts of how the Seraphon have interacted with the mortal realms throughout their history through the Age of Chaos, where they prosecuted this sort of secret guerrilla war against chaos while it was ravaging everything else. And eventually the Age of Sigmar comes along with Sigmar's Storm and the Stormcast Eternals arriving, and now the Seraphon have decided that the actual opening passage of the Battletome is all about how the Age of Deliberation is done. The Slann are done having a talk about what to do about chaos. Now it's the Age of Annihilation. They're now.
That's cool.
They're like, that's pretty stern words from the large toad men who don't really ever speak.
No, that's pretty badass. That. Don't you love how Games Workshop does it though? With a lot of their stories, they'll take they'll go, we'll leave this section kind of blank so that we can come up with better stuff later and throw it in there, or we'll just leave it there for you to speculate, and then they'll piss off, and then
I think that leaving that bit of mystery in there is often like very important for making your own fluff in the background. They do a little. What are the lizard men like in different realms or such? But they're all kind of realm of heaven-ish. So they're like just doing excursions out into the realms.
Yeah, but I think they'd still be like affected. Really?
Because there's some who've landed.
So the idea is that now, since the first Battletome, what's happened is those they're called the Temple Fleets. These like floating cities just out in the heavens in space, and every so often one will just go and land in one of the realms. And as a result, the Seraphon that live in these temples, they now become temple cities where they get situated, and they basically are like these little colonies that get set up, and that's where the Realm Shaper engine comes in, where it's almost like terraforming the area into new Lustria, like this sort of South American jungle, but it gets infused with the magic of that particular realm. So what ends up happening is you'll have a Seraphon temple fleet arrive in, I think the best example is Gur, the realm of beasts. So they'll land there, and they've now, over time, infused with the magical energies of that realm. That's where the coalesced come in. They become more and more real and more grounded in that particular world, and as a result, they also take on some of the aspects of that world, and so do the jungles that they grow around them. There's a wonderful breakdown of how it works.
What?
There's a wonderful breakdown of
for
how it
amazing
works.
hobby things as well, because I mean you can customize your arcade much more, which is really cool.
Absolutely.
That is cool, yeah. That's awesome.
About how the jungles look like dead, dying trees and gnarled branches and shyish, and the ones in Kwashi, the realm of fire, start to like take on the heat of the lava, and then the wonderful passages in the realm of beasts, best left to not think about.
Why?
It amplifies the bestial nature of
the jungles.
of the wildlife and the forest itself. So you get like giant carnivorous plants and strangle vines that go after people.
Badass, because that's like
the jungle itself becomes predatory.
I like that. That's actually really, really cool. That's very awesome. Then, realm of metal jungles.
Yeah.
I'd imagine
Yeah.
it's like sharp things.
Sword trees and blade grass.
That's fine. No issues with that, yeah. But that's what those big pyramids are, right? That they bring down. Those things actually sit down and start. They land and they actually start world shaping everything as they get there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're basically these big terraforming platforms that detach from the underside of the temple fleets, and they get dropped down, and then those have an explosive growth of vegetation around them that makes
That's
the area
cool.
more hospitable for reptilian life.
That's
and also it attracts bugs and things which the Slan like because they snack on them.
that makes sense. So wait, are they new slime?
There are not. They actually make a point of saying that the Slan are a dying race of like, they are apart from the Seraphon in that they were the first that came from the old ones. The rest of the Seraphon are basically created from spawning pools, and whereas the old Battletome had them being these creatures of starlight that maybe the Slan imagined them into existence through just magic and sheer will, the law now is it states that the Seraphon are real. They exist somewhere. They're just infused with the magic of that place, and it seems as though they arrive in beams of light, and that's when the Slan are calling them down from the ships.
That's cool.
Got a little bit of 40k in your signal.
Yeah, that's awesome. So then it's
But
no
I
longer.
read there's this wonderful ancient aliens kind of bent to it, which is very cool.
Yeah.
But the Slan are a dying race that are kind of there are no new Slan anymore, but they are effectively immortal.
Yeah, I mean even Lord Croak technically is dead, but actually not really.
Yeah.
So
It's just it's one of those like super sad moments when you read. I think it's either one of the Realm Gate Wars or in the Khorne book or something, where it might even be in the Lizardmen book. But there's like a battle between Lizardmen and Khorne, and then like a bloodthirster comes and just like chops an axe into one of the Slan's head and just like, oh, he died. And it's like,
Yeah,
oh,
that's a little
you
hectic.
can't kill an old man like that. That's just
An old man with the
old man
mental
lizard.
power of
I mean,
being able
he's
to
great.
rip
It's
worlds
just like-
apart.
It's chopping down an old tree, really. It's just so sad.
Yeah.
Like,
To make way for like a murder maul of some sort.
yeah.
A murder maul.
Economics words.
more blood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Khorne's happy with that. But then this brings up the other thing. So now these fleets are just floating in space. Do they crash into Caradron.
Caradron in the sky.
No, but there is an awesome little short blurb about how they tried to land on the bad moon of the grots. There is just a short story in the Battletome about how there's a mad astromancer, just a human astromancer who's just like watching the stars, and no one really pays attention to him because he's obviously crazy. But he watched the Seraphon try to land one of their temple cities on the bad moon of the Gloomspite Gits.
Are we told what happens when they try, or they just fail horribly?
No, it's just like, that guy's crazy. You can't listen to a word he says.
So
Maybe that never happened, but they probably did.
Well, that's ridiculous and awesome all at the same time.
I can see it just being like, I'm gonna land, and the moon's just like, nope, and just like, either just
No,
smashes it or
because the
flies
bad
away.
moon-
It's like,
It's the weirdest thing, because the bad moon's normally like goes through the sky and goes, oh, I'm going to cause crap with everyone. Now something comes close and it's like, social distancing, bro. Just stay away.
I'm just thinking, okay, they land on the bad moon, they come out and they absorb some of the energy. So what are they gonna look like? How are they gonna be?
They're going to be lizards
Stoners.
with mushrooms on them.
they're just gonna be like
They're mushrooms.
lying
Yeah,
on the
that's
ground, just being like,
Rolling around.
in catnip.
Catnip.
Catnip. That is, it's lizard men catnip, isn't it?
Lizardman catnip is mushrooms.
Or is the,
You heard it here,
It's not
people.
the
It's
mushroom,
official.
It's the cheese that the moon's made.
Yeah, the cheese.
The cheese, yes,
Lizards love cheese.
because the bad moon is made of actual cheese.
So it might be made of spiders as well. That might be like the most like they just land on it. It's like, this place looks nice, and then like the whole surface that turns into
Just-
eyes, and just legs. So we're like, oh, we've made a bad decision.
Nope.
Well, it depends if you like spiders or if you don't. That's the question.
It's one of those like, oh, what's this? It's just a rock. Poke. Spiders.
Yeah, and then one person freaks out, the other person goes, oh, cute!
I don't think anyone is going to go, oh, cute, when a million spiders like start crawling on you. It's like,
Depends. If they're fluffy little like crab spiders,
and then they died.
yeah, okay.
Either way,
They weren't sad for long.
No, hell. Good times.
the Seraphon are actually super annoyed with the Gloomspite Gits because of the bad moon, because it screws up all the constellations. So they like, what is going on? We can't predict anything. This thing is getting in the way.
Just like
The bad moon
dancing.
just like cruise through and just mess up all their predictions. 'Cause that's what it does.
Yeah.
That's perfect. That seems
I
absolutely
mean,
perfect.
trolls.
Yeah.
Literally, yeah.
It's just the poor people trying to track the moon's progress in the human book, in the Free Guild people, what they call it?
Free Guild, yeah.
Free State, City,
Free
City,
City.
yeah,
Free
that
cities,
one.
yeah.
Free state.
It's Free State.
In the
Free State.
the cities of Sigma.
The cities of Sigma.
Here we go.
Um,
Otherwise known as the Free State. You heard it yet?
where can we add more?
Boom.
Oh goodness! So like that, yeah. There's people there trying to keep track of where the moon is and its path across the sky. It's like they just go crazy and just die probably, become a little bit. But that's Gloomspite, not
Right.
Seraphon.
Now the
Exactly.
question is, who else? You said that the Seraphon have started the age of the Liver? No,
Age
The
of
li-
Annihilation.
Annihilation. Okay, so
There's too many
here
ages.
they are against Chaos.
Hmm.
Like chaos is they referred to in the Battletome as the great enemy. That's it. That's
Okay.
the eternal enemy. That's who we're after.
Well, they should be.
But
But
the Seraphon will go after anyone that they think is messing with the plan, the great plan. So
and we still don't know what
there
this great
are-
plan is.
No, and each and every Slan tries to follow the great plan in a different way. So there are actually cases where two different Seraphon factions will fight each other because they've come into conflict over what is the correct plan to follow, or the one sees the other as a risk to the plan.
Yeah.
And in the other song, like, oh, this is fine because if one kills the other, then the other one was obviously following the plan wrong. Or this is all just part of the great plan. It's fine.
That's
It's almost Siege-like in a way. It's weird.
It is very
Well,
siege-like.
that explains also why they have a problem
Where
with it. Besides all the other reasons why they have a problem with chaos and everything. It's just, I mean, just look at their basic plan. Well, actually, but then this plan has been in action since before the old ones, right? Or is it a new plan?
The old ones are the ones who made the Great Plan.
So they knew the plan
Then something
coming.
happened.
Because the old
Is it
ones
still
made
the
chaos.
same great plan?
Yeah,
Like, why would it change?
it's a pretty
But
because,
Well, because, I mean,
so
it
it's not that
fades
the Great
away,
Plan has
but-
changed. The people who are trying to follow it have changed. That's the way they reason it. It's like no. It's just that we are fallible, but the plan isn't. So we must have. There must have been something that separated the Slan from the old ones way back when. And if it got rid of the old ones, it must have been so bad. So the Slan made themselves forget. So now they've got like bits and pieces of the plan.
That's like willful
No one
ignorance.
actually has the whole picture.
That's
And
perfectly willful
so they've
ignorance.
got like they're all trying to follow different pieces of a plan that they don't really have all the knowledge of.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
so are there any like with like the Skaven? They tell you how many. There's like the 13 great clans, and there's each one has the Vermin Lord as on the seat of power, and they all sitting in the background. Is there like here there are the 15 Slan mages who are like overseeing everything, or is there like a hierarchy that's in the book?
There is not like an overall hierarchy like that. They break down how a temple, a constellation is created, and the constellations are basically their nation states essentially. Much like how you'd have different, I think it's the different temples for the Daughters of Cain and stuff like that. You have the different constellations for the Seraphon, and those constellations are usually led by a Slan, a singular Slan, who then has around him a collection of star priests and oracles and star seers, which are the skinks, who then interpret the Slan's will and then deliver that to the rest of the Lizardman society, which is like the normal run-of-the-mill skinks, the Sauruses, which are like their guards and their warriors, the Croxagors, which are like their heavy laborers, and the skinks like heavy beat sticks when you run skink armies. So in that way, they've kind of broken up into a very rigid strata of society, but overall, they don't really have like just, oh, there's like 50 Slan. We don't know how many Slan there are, but we know that there's a limited number, and each one is basically in charge of one of these constellations, and the constellation can have several different city ships, there's temple ships within it, depending on the size of the constellation. Some constellations only have one.
Oh, okay.
And each constellation
Seems
is
like
now
very
a
cool.
tribe type thing.
It's like the city.
Each constellation is now a city, or like a culture, or
Each
a
constellation
faction.
can have up to several cities, temple cities within it.
Mm.
But the idea of a constellation is that it's almost like a country. And that is their
Constellation
allegiance
is
to
a
that
version of the
constellation.
plan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, anything else in the law that was crazy and stood out and you thought we should delve into?
Well, there's a lot of really cool nods to the old world stuff.
Yeah.
So the lizard men in the old Warhammer had something, the geomantic web, which was like this complex system that they were going to use to keep out chaos. Now, the lizard men, the Seraphon, are pursuing the creation of something called the Astra Matrix, which is like it seems very similar. It's like along the ley lines and of the realms, and it's to do with stabilizing magic and like empowering their own their weird old one technology that they use. And if anyone
That's very Nagash-like.
very, very.
Yeah, but unlike Nagash, they'll actually get it right.
Well, he kind of got it right this time. Just like 90% right.
Damn, Skaven.
Don't blame the Skaven for doing the job right.
I mean, they help. They're such a order force.
They're great. They're amazing.
Thanks,
Is it-
Keegan.
Anything? Is there anything there on the them and their feeling about the rising of the Archaearchs and all that stuff?
They came up.
Well, the
before?
Necroquake was a big deal.
Yeah.
That's kind of what triggered the Slann getting directly involved in the Mortal Realms again. Was when they were like super focused on chaos. Let's go, let's get them. When Nagash triggered the Necroquake, the Slann a lot of the Slann were like put into like comatose because they were busy divining the stars, and the stars started to die. So they were like, this is kind of a problem. That's where the Slann decided, no, we've let the other lesser creatures of the Mortal Realms get too powerful. So now they're going after Nagash, they're going after the Auric war bands, they're going after any of the Order factions that get anywhere close to messing with Seraphon business.
The Marathi's
Or
in some shit.
way-
Because
They will send assassins to go after Stormcast in order to kill off commanders if they're just going on like a crusade and they're going to mess up an area and some sort of plan with the Seraphon. We're just going to take you out.
That's cool. That's
Damn.
awesome.
It's very cool.
I can just imagine.
It's a
Yeah, I can just imagine the Stormcast being like one of the leaders walking and being like, I need to go into this building, and he tries to walk in. Some skink pops up, shoots him in the neck. He dies. Gets reforged somewhere. Teleports down. He's like, I need to go in that building, and then
Skink
gets shot again. It's like keeps forgetting why he's
They
going.
keep respawning the skink. Oh, but he dies, and like 7 years later, this skink's children are all sitting there with a sacred duty. When you see the Stormcast, shoot him. Yeah. And this whole entire network and like a civilization of skinks starts growing around there. Thousands upon thousands. They just left there for that sole purpose.
Stop that one dude who really wants to go inside to get a tavern
No.
drink.
To get a drink.
Get a drink at that
Get a
tavern.
drink.
Just like, nope.
Oh,
We're
man.
gonna
Yeah,
Stop
but
it.
that drink is gonna trigger a memory or an idea, and then he's gonna go to a different place. So that's why.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So it's just being put on pause.
Oh, man. Okay, so now I think that's enough on the lore side over there. On to the rules, the fun stuff. Obviously, the big ones. So, what's the biggest change on the allegiance abilities? And they've got you said they've got the constellations and stuff. So, yeah, the main thing is allegiance abilities. Tell us what's changed on that. How is it different from what it was before? What makes it more interesting now? Is it good? Is it bad? What do you feel?
Well, first of all, it's all in one book.
Oh, yeah.
That is 100% what I can say. That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, we'll give you that.
I'm sure that there will be changes that will eventually come out and will be in general's handbooks in the future. But for now, we have one solid book that we can get everything in, and that's great. They've changed how the general allegiances work now. So the Seraphon have just like, okay, cool, this is what the Slann get as a result. So they get their usual, like, you can cast anywhere type stuff and bind spells anywhere across the map. But then you get into which do you want to be, the Starborn or the Coalesced. Starborn are the Seraphon that are still up in their temple fleets up in High Asia, that are kind of just cruising around, going wherever they need to. And the Coalesced are the ones that have landed temple ships and become temple cities on the different realm.
Yes, and
And
no.
then within those,
Yeah.
within those, you have the different kinds of like nation states, those constellations, where it's for the Coalesced, you've got things like Kotal's Claw and the Thunder Lizards.
Thunderquake.
And then it's the constellation is the Thunder Lizards, and then the battalion is
battalion.
Thunderquake.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's because now it's even more broken down, which is actually really cool because it gives you a lot more. It's a feeling of flavor, which is nice. And in the Starborn side, you've got the Fangs of Sotek and the Dracthorn's Tail.
Okay. And
My
Graham?
question is the following.
Hmm?
You explained to us that according to the realm that they undertake on characteristics,
Yeah.
do you think it's possible that the fact that the Starborn are still in Azir, which is the realm of the heavens, they are Starborn because they have taken this heavenly characteristic of the realm, so they are still Starborn?
That's why they light.
Yeah, that is 100% what it is. They're infused with that sort of starlight, that energy, and
Because
that's
they
why
are in that realm.
And
That's cool.
that's exactly what it is. That was how they were able to come out of stasis originally. Was that they now had this energy infused into them because they were no longer in the Aether Void. They were in Azir.
The realm, yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
The awesome thing about the different allegiance abilities is that a lot of the stuff that we saw as old mechanics in the last Battletome have been broken away and then made into a characterization of that particular allegiance. So things like the teleporting and summoning are all what the Starborn are about. And also having Bravery 10 across the entire army. That you just get that. Which is great. That's kind of the OG Seraphon. That's kind of what their whole shtick was. But then you go to the Coalesced, and they are more about just being physical and brutal, where they get +1 to their bite attacks. Just everything gets another bite attack, including the big lizards.
Which puts them on what? 4+.
Then,
4 attack.
No,
it's like it will go from 3 attacks to 4 attacks on the giant.
Okay. So it's not to the roll, no.
Carnosaurs.
Oh, wow.
And then they also get the damage reduction. So you reduce any damage above 1, you reduce it by 1.
Yeah.
Which is
And
kind
also
of
they
a
ignore
way.
modifiers on the bravery, right?
And they also, yes, that's correct. They ignore the Coalesced ignore any modifiers to their bravery.
Which springs a question, what do you think is best? Having bravery 10 or ignoring modifiers?
It depends on who you're going up against. That's the real question. Is because the Seraphon themselves have a lot of ways of messing with their bravery, with their banners. Carnosaur and the Pterodon, the Troglodon have like a lot of bravery minusing abilities. But like a skink, I think has got like bravery 6. So and they've got a 6-up save, so you're going to lose a lot of them anyway. So I don't think it really matters for that. Personally, I really like the idea of no modifiers affecting, because it really having 10 cool, but having nothing that your opponent does harm you is a pretty cool psychological tactic.
They cannot lose stuff from Battle Shock basically, because it's just okay.
Yeah.
Even if I roll a 6, nothing happens.
It's fine.
Because it works, it's still, if you have a 10-man squad, you lose 4 guys, you're still taking your bravery 6, or it's like ignores the modifiers from like other banners
I think
that
the
people have.
modifier is thought more like
Yeah,
against
that's what they. But you'd still lose based on casualties.
Okay, that's still cool.
But Darren can confirm, Slanesh has a couple things that can mess with bravery. Undead, the old Legion of Legion of Blood has the bravery bomb.
No, Legion of
Also, when you say the no modifiers to bravery, what does it count as? Does it count only for combat, or can we use spells and abilities and everything on that to affect it?
I think all of those are modifiers.
Just nothing.
Yeah.
So
It's no modifiers, positive or negative.
So
No modifiers count.
Archon Phantasmagoria unit, for example.
What does it do?
It's I forgot exactly how it works, but basically the result minuses from your battle shock.
Yeah, they know when to work.
Huh. That's cool. That's very cool.
But
Yet you can still do your leadership bombs, can't you? With all your temple, with all your totems and all that stuff.
Yep.
Not against themselves, but against other people.
That's badass. I'm sorry, that's real
You can
badass.
modify up.
No.
There's
modify
no like modifiers that I do for my bravery.
So I mean, like, there's no for every 10 models you get +1 in leadership. So like, that
No.
wouldn't apply then.
But what I mean is, you used to be able to take things like Saurus would have a totem or something, which would then give minus leadership to
You
enemy
still have
models
that.
within there. That still applies.
Not to them, but to
Yeah.
everyone else. Yeah,
Yeah, to everyone else. But if you had Lizardmen versus Lizardmen, both with the same thing,
they would
just ignore
both
each
do
other.
nothing. Yeah.
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 Ooh,
In
it's
mirror
so
matches,
nasty.
they might not be the best.
No.
They just scare each other. Like, look at the scary totem I have. It's a cool totem,
mine's
bro.
scarier than
Mine's
yours.
scarier.
I got
Whoa.
one too.
And that's why they keep rolling ones.
Great.
Nice.
That's pretty cool.
So that was the.
And then the summoning, that's changed now between the previous edition and now. It's used to be you got 3 points for every spell you didn't cast with a Slan, right? And then now
Yeah.
it's 1 point for a Slan, or 1 point for your general, and 1 point for an oracle or something, right?
It's D3.
D3.
D3 for if you get D3 at the beginning of the hero phase, and then the first spell that your Slan casts, they can say, no, I'm going to do a ritual, the celestial ritual, and then they get another D3 points. Then you get in D3 points for every oracle that you have roaming around, which is the skink oracle on the Troglodon, and then you also get D3 points for every astrolith bearer. Well, for one or more astrolith bearers.
Yeah,
So you
for
can't
any
just start
amount.
stacking. And it's only one spell that the Slan can give up. So there's no longer, cool, I've got 5 spells to cast because it's Lord Croak on a Balewind Vortex next to the cogs. I can't just say, cool, I've got 30 summoning points. Yeah, it would be 6, you were correct. It's now, there is the limit to how many you could generate, and it's still random between 1 and 3.
Yeah.
That being said, it's still pretty cool. And when you do drop like a Battletome on the other side of the battle, it's still a very impressive moment. And it's only for the starboard. The Coalesce don't get summoned.
And it's still additional, yeah. I keep getting confused between the Sigma and 40k on the summoning. Yeah.
So like,
Yeah, this doesn't cost points, it's super fun, but the mechanic is not like, as
Yeah.
much as it's good, it's not OP or like super alive when you can just spam stuff. Not anymore, at least.
Yeah.
Before the
It's-
Battletome,
they've
it was a
been
little bit
locked.
spammy.
because have they adjusted the points on
On what they cost.
what they cost to summon, like a Battletome or a
And the mechanic as well.
yeah? So you get less
a lot
points.
of that high tier stuff is pushing like, I think it's 27 or 30 summoning points. But your lower tier stuff, it's pretty much like 3s, 6s, then 12, and then your Bastiladons and your Carnosaurs and your Engines of the Gods are all like, cool, you'd have to probably wait like 3 or 4 battle rounds before you're even eligible to summon it.
I mean,
It
the
seems
most
to
expensive
encourage
stuff
you
is
to-
the Stegodon with Skink Chief and the Engine of the Gods. That's the. I mean,
Yeah.
if you don't count the Dread Saurian, which is never, like, no. The rest
Steak it
is-
on.
You can summon
Like, they're all-
salamanders.
You can summon salamanders. That is pretty much what we should probably be focusing on.
Yeah.
No, let's Skeleman.
10 points for a salamander. Scary.
No.
Yeah.
The greatest mortal wound dealing model in the game? Yes.
Probably at this point.
Yeah. I mean, even a Keeper of Secrets that could reroll everything doesn't do that many mortal wounds.
I think a warp lightning cannon that's been overcharged might do more,
Okay. Yeah,
Depends
actually.
on where you roll.
unless it breaks itself.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man.
Let's face it, that never happens.
Okay, so that's kind of our next point: is units that
Yeah.
stand out. So what? So like that's Seraphon. The salamanders, they're now D3 attacks, or are they I know they have D3 damage, and on a 6 to hit, they cause D3 mortal wounds instead of their damage thing. Is that right?
So it is. They have 4 attacks now. They used to only be 3. They now got 4 attacks. 3s and 3s. Ren -2 D3 damage. I think it is. But you take mortal wounds. I mean, let me make sure here.
Because it kind of does the executioner thing on a 6 to hit,
3
just
plus
skips.
3 plus D3 damage, and it's minus
Yeah.
to Ren.
And if you get a 6 on the to hit for either its melee attack or its range attack, it's D3 mortal wounds, attack sequence end.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. Like especially the
And
bot.
It's worth saying that the handlers are literally just extra beef on the unit. So,
Yeah.
oh, okay. Kill the handler, and nothing else.
There's no negative
That's
to
the-
it.
that's
Actually,
the
really like the way they
salamander
changed it.
How was it before? I can't remember exactly.
The way that you would do it is there was the salamander or the razordon, and then the skink handlers were a separate unit. They had like a whole separate page for the skink handler. And what would
Okay.
happen is then if your hunting packs, which is the salamander or the razordon, were near the skink handlers, they got buffed in some way. Now it's a much better, much more elegant solution. It's the group is the 3 skink handlers, and then the 4th skink handler can be a salamander. It's like they take an extra. It's like any force like unit augmentation where like the paladins for Stormcast get a big hammer instead of
Yeah.
the normal mace if it's the 4th guy. And I think it's just a better way of handling it. It was a bit clunky having these like, okay, cool, well maybe I can just have like 5 or 6 units of these skink handlers screening things because they cost like 50 points. But now it's a lot better.
Okay.
Plus they do still have the go for the eyes with the goad spear.
Okay, so Brad, you want to do some maths there? Work out. We got 3 salamanders, 3 salamander squads. How many mortal wounds are we dishing out on an average?
Oh, let me get a calculator.
Well,
But, yeah.
maximum amount?
Yeah.
12 from 12 attacks. From the shooting alone, it would be 36,
36.
Hits. Now what?
and then
Damage.
On a 6 to hit, it gives two more wounds flat. On a 6 to hit.
Is it 2 mortal wounds flat or is it
no, it's D3. more.
D3?
Oh, no, D3, sorry, D3 more wounds. The 2 is the minus the red. Sorry.
Three.
So 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's 2. There are 4 attacks and there's a squad of 3. So for every shot,
And
2
then
of
there's
them will be
several
mortal
buffs,
wounds.
3 attacks.
Repeat that there, Carl.
They got bite.
They're bite attacks. They're melee bite
Oh, they
attacks.
got-
They've got 3 as well that do the same thing.
So it's like a squad. They've only got 12-inch range, so that's their like negative, but they can teleport around, so they can be teleported around.
Oh, that's disgusting. That's utterly
But
disgusting.
what's really awful is
Okay.
that they teleport. They have to be 9 inches away. So you're in range.
You're fine.
already.
They do only have 1 wound though, so right?
The salamander itself has 3 wounds.
Oh,
Once
so
you
the
add
character
salamander to
wounds.
the group, it has 3 wounds.
That's hectic.
Oh, so 1 in every 4 models in this unit must be a salamander instead of a skink. Okay, so they went. You're buying a squad of skinks,
And you get a free
and you
salamander.
replace one of them to be a salamander.
And it's how many points for 1 unit?
Uh,
Oh,
80 or something.
something tiny. Salamander
sound
hunting pack
okay.
is 80 points.
80 points. Holy crap.
80 points.
So, as you were saying, they're getting the artillery keyword now. aren't
We hope.
they? Yes.
They should.
We got 6
a little bit
wounds
r-
and
Based
80.
on the rocket, that should be it.
Yeah.
They have bravery 5 and you've got you do 3 wounds to them, and you kill off all the handlers, and then then they run away.
I think the idea is
Yeah,
that
but they probably
this
kill you
is,
before you do that.
it should not be a staying power unit. You don't have the salamander as the linchpin of your hammer and anvil army.
Yeah.
You have it like in the backline waiting, or you drop it on the wizard that's been giving you trouble way on the other side of the map. And you're like, okay, cool. He melts, and then I don't care about the salamanders anymore.
So you drop it on the gash.
But that's
I
not
mean-
gonna do anything. Because on a 4+ ignores the mortal wounds, so that's not gonna do anything.
However, there are artifacts now for the Seraphon, like cool artifacts that each different sub-race get. A Slan can have an artifact, a Saurus can have an artifact, and a Skink can have an artifact. There is a Skink weapon called the Dagger of the Serpent God. Nice nod to old Sotek. If you take a wound, you're automatically slain.
On a 5+. You roll on a 5+, the model is automatically slain.
Yes.
That is.
It's like the
gross.
mini
Which I think-
version of Hand of Lagash. Same story.
Yeah.
Is it
The
a
dude with the tombstone from the Bone Reapers, the guy that has like the stick with the 3 heads,
uh-huh?
Vokmortian, he has exactly the same thing. He
Is that a
touches something,
spell
if it's not dead on a 5+, you
It's
just
an artifact.
that shoots something? Is it a sword?
close
No,
combat.
it replaces your melee weapon.
Okay, so close combat. So, and that goes on it?
Yeah.
A skink or a slan?
And it's on a skink.
Put it
a
on the
skink.
skink.
I mean, if it went on a Slan,
I
put it on
mean,
a skink.
I think a slan would be a
a
bit.
close combat solution for a Slan. It's not that great though. I mean, it doesn't make a lot of sense.
There's the fun one where you at the beginning of the game you choose a turn or a hero phase, and then on that turn your slan heals to full wounds.
Oh gosh.
So you have to get like,
Yeah.
I think he's gonna die on turn 4, and he's like, oh, and he doesn't die. And you're like, cool, boop, healed. But that's like
Yeah.
doing some predictive text going
There is
on there.
also you can make a turbo Slan going +4 movement and +1 wound, just in case you need to move around very.
Just frogging around.
they are very slow, so it helps.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
But you
except
don't need
the fact that they
to
fly,
pass
hey?
If you have yourself some Temple Guard.
True. Because then the Temple Guard just take all the wounds for you, right?
Yeah. On a 2
Uh,
up, if you're within 3.
Only for a Slan though, right? Now.
Yeah.
Yeah, only
It
for-
doesn't work on the other heroes anymore.
That's okay.
So if the Slan is within 3 of the Eternity Warden or the Temple Guard, on a 2 up, they take the wound instead. If it's mortal or otherwise.
Cow drones. What?
Exactly. That's exactly what they are. Okay, so then what about this? The Stegodon.
What's
Sting again.
Yes. Yes, Steg again. How is the Stegodon now?
So
Besides the fact that you can have the Stegodon
the
on,
Stegodon,
you know, as core.
I would probably field like 2 of them, because they become battle line if you go with Thunder Lizards,
Mhm.
which is pretty crazy. The Stegodon itself hasn't changed that much between the last Battletome and this one. If any, like they've changed a bit of how the attacks work. So the horns don't have a -3 rend anymore, unfortunately. But they do I think it's a flat 4 damage, which is great. And the stomps are now more consistent. Like it used to be roll D3, that's how many attacks it got, and it could just kind of stomp on any little guys that were around it, which was really fun. But now it's become a little more consistent. I think it's like they get 5 attacks and they've got rend. And they do a flat 2 damage. But otherwise, the
Flat 2's
the
good.
actual like its range stuff is pretty much unchanged. Scarstreak Bow is still fantastic. I would always take it, just because it's massive range and it deals 3 damage now. It's like, what's
Yeah.
that over there? It's no longer a thing. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, 3
And
attacks.
the fire throws, the sunfire throws are pretty much unchanged. It's just the hit everything that's within 8 inches. Take a mortal wound, it's fine. On a father.
That's
Each model.
that's a lot of fun. So you charge it in,
And now,
let rip, have fun.
yeah, pretty much. And they also get a charge rule, which is really great. Like most cavalry heavy cavalry has got that whole, when you charge in, after the charge move, you deal mortal wounds. They've got that now.
Yeah.
I think it's on a 3-up. That
Yeah.
you D3 mortal wounds, which is cool.
What's up the movement they're running?
8 inches at full capacity.
That's nice.
Then it drops 8, 7, 6, 5, 4.
That's nice.
But definitely, I think the crossbow, the Scar Streak bow seems to be the best. Unless you're running against like a huge number of models.
Yeah, like look, if you're going against a horde army like a Skaven or something, that would then definitely go for the fire throws. Sunfire throws? Sunfire throws. But generally, Scar Streak bow, easy, the best. And you get a hero now. Stegodons can be heroes if you put a skink chief on it. Which is cool.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's the other thing. They've added some extra new heroes into the Flappy Birds and the what they called Pterodactyls 1 and 2 get a hero.
Pterodons and the Ripidactyls.
Yeah. So they've got their own little skink hero now.
I thought that was really
They've
cool.
got heroes on those.
Rounded out
That's
what
cool.
the skinks have, because they were kind of like I'd field a bunch of skinks, but I wouldn't run a skink army. Now I could probably run a skink army like
Oh,
confidently.
now you can.
Because
And they're actually
with
really
those, yeah, with the they now have these dedicated heroes on the backs of flying units, which really rounds out the like how the skinks operate. They don't just have priests anymore. They've also got these more martial characters available to you. With the Pterodon hero, he's more about the hit and run tactics and kind of coordinating that. Whereas the Ripidactyl is always just a lot of melee attacks all at once on one thing. Especially with the block toads, which has been changed like several times, but I think it's a lot less now than it was before.
Yeah.
Because now it's
They're not as dangerous.
Because it used to be you had the toad that jumps around, and if you charge the unit that is within 3 inches of this toad, then when you attacked on you get to frenzy and attack, get extra. Each of your attacks become D3 attacks, is what they got FAQ'd to, instead of the infinite attacks that original Age of Sigmar started with.
Yeah.
And now I think the frog has been changed to once per game. You can, when you're in combat, you can activate the frog, which gives you some sort of reroll or some sort of bonus.
You reroll hit rolls,
which is, I think,
but you
a
can
bit
only use it
more.
once, and only in one combat.
So what does a frog do otherwise?
It's not a model anymore
Aww.
because it was like it's a bit too.
You put it out as a token.
Yeah, it was a bit more like you have to keeping track of this little model. It was a bit. I can see it being a bit too iffy.
Well, it's kind of what we do every time.
No, but we're playing with giant. Yeah, it's just like adding complexity for like complexity's sake, rather than for.
It wasn't. It was a non-intuitive bit of bookkeeping, because suddenly you've got this toad running around that's only moving 3. Like you're trying to kind of predict where the enemy are going to be, and originally it just seemed very, very like a lot of overhead for very little reward after the whole infinite attack thing was taken away, which it should have been, because that was a bit silly.
Then what about the Bastillodon? How is that now?
The Bastillodon's change is it's interesting. I think a lot of people freaked out when they saw it had a +1 save.
Yeah.
Very counterintuitive, really. But when you, it's intuitive,
it is.
but like opposite.
Yeah. it doesn't make a lot of sense, surface level sense, because it
No.
kind of goes around what it's trying to say. And it's definitely a nerf from the original Battletome, where it was just, I don't care about rend, which was, in hindsight, probably very overpowered for its point cost.
Yeah.
Because it previously had a
What was
3
the
up.
original save?
It was a 3 up save that you had no rend, right?
Yeah. They've also
You
changed
can
how
make,
his
you
attack
can make
works.
Zombie Dragon the same thing, 3 classic no rend. So
That's with artifacts
still
and
not?
stuff.
yeah, no, clearly, but
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, he has to be a hero to then you waste your artifact on that. So, like, the Battletomes, you could have 4 of them roaming around.
yeah, but so the way I see it, Darren and Bradley know that when I see a unit, I go like, okay, can I kill it with my catapult? If you have a 1+ save, I have no way of killing you because I have no rend. There is nothing. So my 5 damage, you cannot fail that roll. I cannot do anything to you.
But a
Until I
1
hit
always
you
fails.
with combat.
Yeah.
Not with that save.
No,
Not with
it's
that.
still a 1 always, like, let's like clarify what we were, because they did an FAQ on it.
Yeah. And this is where the problem came in, is the FAQ.
'Cause, like, okay, so
how
in-
the
in-
FAQ stated this was written, which was very weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very clunky language around.
Because like in my mind when I first read it, it's like, cool, on a 1 up, which means render -1 is still putting you to 2, render -2 is putting you to 3. So when you have no rend, a 1 fails in my mind. A 1 failed, and then a render -1 was still a 1, and then rend -2 became a 2, so it's still a 1 fail. So it still didn't change your 1 up save, 2 up save. But I think that my logic is incorrect in the way that GW thinks. So let me open the FAQ.
If it
first.
states that 1 is always a failure, cool, then I have a possibility. But otherwise,
How does the
it's
rend?
like,
Okay.
Oh, that's a rubber.
So how does the rend characteristic of attacks interact with the Battletome while it has a 1 up save? An unmodified save roll of a 1 always fails. So a 1 fails. When a save roll is modified by the rend characteristics of the attack, it can never be modified to less than 1. So when a model has a save characteristic of 1+, oh right, okay, yeah, that's it. Okay, so it's still a 1 fails, but rend -4 on a 1+ save doesn't go to negative, it just goes to 1. So the save is still a 1+, so after modifiers, the number you get to with rend, so it's like your armor save is 1+, if you put a -5 on it, it doesn't go negative, so it still ends up being a 1. So it's like saying
Does anybody understand?
no, okay. In my mind, okay, you roll a dice. Okay, I've clarified it. I've got it in my mind now.
Yeah, let Brad let.
Okay, cool.
You've got rend -5. You roll a dice. You roll a 5. You -5 because your rend is there. You -5 from that number on the dice, which will get you to 1. The save is a 1+, so it passes. If you had a rend -6 and you rolled a 4, the 4 gets -6 applied to it, so it goes down to 1 is the lowest number it can become, and so 2 of the points you'd imagine go -2, but it doesn't go to negative, so it still becomes a 1 after modifiers, and after modifiers a 1+ save is still a save. So
But a roll of a 1 is always a fail.
a roll of a 1, so you still fail if you roll a 1 you fail, if you roll any other number you pass. Until you've taken 2 wounds or something.
Yes.
Wow.
After those first 2 wounds, he then goes to a 2+, I think.
And then modifiers
And
will
then
apply.
we're out of this weird war.
Yeah, then the modifier is still like, you still, like a -5 to whatever the
So
roll
I
is,
have
becomes a
to
1.
shoot you and hope that you roll a 1
Yeah.
in one of the saves. You
And as
take
soon as you
5
do, he
damage,
dies.
Then,
Once you do that, he
Then
finishes.
it's over.
Yeah.
pretty
But
much.
it's a little bit, because when I first read it, that like you'd think a modifier would go into negatives, but that's like, it's just an assumption versus what GW is like. Modifiers can never go below 1.
Modifiers save after the roll.
Yeah.
So if you have a 1 modifier, you fail. If you have a 2 modifier, you fail. If you have a 3 modifier, you fail. If you have a 4 modifier, you fail. If you have a 5 modifier, you fail. If you have a 6 modifier, you fail. If you have a 7 modifier, you fail. If you have a 8 modifier, you fail. If you have a 9 modifier, you fail. If you have a 10 modifier, you fail. If you have a 11 modifier, you fail. If you have a 12 modifier, you fail. If you have a 13 modifier, you fail. If you have a 14 modifier, you fail. If you have a 15 modifier, you fail. If you have a 16 modifier, you fail. If you have a 17 modifier, you fail. If you have a 18 modifier, you fail. If you have a 19 modifier, you fail. If you have a 20 modi That's
Hmm?
the issue.
Oh,
No.
because you applied to the roll.
Applied to the saves and
not
to
the
the
roll. Yeah.
If we changed it to that, yeah. But that's with hitting and stuff as well. It's like there was that confusing like reroll failed versus reroll like success, like rerolling all saves or something. It's like goodness.
Yep.
But
So, otherwise,
after that math hammer,
yeah, so basically, Battletome cheese.
I mean it's still pretty good. Like, what is it? It has. Where's the actual rules for it again? There. Solar engine. 9 attacks, 4 plus 3 plus -1, 2.
Gosh, that's nice.
So it shoots
That's
a
the
little.
crystal.
It shoots a laser. Or you get your Arc of Sotek, which is you roll a
The
shit ton of
snakes.
dice for nothing really happening.
Yeah. You get 18 attacks.
6s are mortal wounds, right? On the hits.
Yep.
And then you hit on a 4 plus, and then you have a 6 plus to wound, and you do 1 damage. So you roll the first bunch. Did you get any 6s? If you don't, you slide the dice away and you go, fuck it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because
It doesn't matter.
That's
They changed that because, and I think that's a great change. First of all, the solar engine now it's no longer just a 2d6 attacks. It's now a solid 9. That's a fantastic improvement. And the fact that the Arc of Sotek now makes a little more sense, because it used to be this like that paragraph of you've got to put dice and assign numbers to different units around the Celadon, and then roll for however many there are, and then they'll take wounds. Like, it was a really clunky way of going through the motions of an attack. And I really like that GW have taken a lot of the randomness out of what the Seraphon do. There aren't a lot of roll 2d or 3d6 and that's what you do. It's now they've become a little more consistent with what they're doing.
It was kind of the old rules were trying to what would happen if you threw a bag of snakes on the ground? They would attack in random directions and like
basically, yes.
throw snakes in the air and just run away. And it's like
And they'd have some skin poke.
which one did it attack? You. Okay, sorry.
Good
You
time.
rolled 4s on everything. It didn't hit anyone.
Yeah. Oh.
So what's... I see you made a note here. Skinky shenanigans.
Yes.
I'm curious.
Speak.
Because skinks are so originally in the old Battletome, skinks could do their whole we're gonna retreat instead of piling in, which was great. But that is now a allegiance ability for a particular constellation. But if you can do it right, man, is it fun. There's also a lot to do with skinks like in hiding. So, your chameleon skinks still have we're going to just teleport around the battlefield because we were in hiding the whole time. And now they no longer are just about hitting chaos. Like the chameleon skinks in particular, they took away the whole, it's just against chaos stuff. Chameleon skinks now hit hard on a 6 to wound, I believe it is, with their blow darts on anyone. They'll do 2 damage instead.
Nice.
There's the whole I think it's Shadow Strike battalion basically can be in hiding, which is either pterodons or rhipidactyls, skink priest, and chameleons, or skinks in some combination. And they're
Is
just
that the
in
one that
hiding.
relies on the slan?
Repeat that?
Is that the one that relies on the slan and has to be within 18 inches of the slan?
No. It's one of the battalions. I think it's
Shadow Strike Star Priest. Skin Priest to Star Priest and Chameleon was there.
Okay.
Does it
So
sound like a town name?
yeah.
I don't trust it.
Yeah.
You can set up the unit from the battalion. You place it to one side and reserve, and then they just appear 9 inches away from the enemy, and they're basically like a free summon. It's like Deep Strike. It's exactly Deep Strike,
Yes.
but you Deep Strike a unit of pterodons or rhipidactyls somewhere very important, and it becomes a big problem.
Because Stegodons with a skink dude on it counts as a skink because you get the skink keyword.
Yes, he does. But
So
he's
you-
not part of the battalion.
Ah,
Yeah, the chameleon skinks have that same, like a version of the salamander thing. So on a 6 to hit, it causes a mortal wound instead. As far
Yeah,
as the, so that's pretty cool.
Originally, it was a 6 on a wound would give they would get a 2 damage instead. But this is way better
Mm.
because it feels like they're assassins now.
that's cool.
And they can like
I was thinking of
redeploy the point.
Dragon, by the way.
Hmm.
Yeah, they can redeploy.
Dragon is the one that says you have the appear on command trait, so you can keep stuff out, and if they're within 10 inches of a slot, then they can just break it. That's what I was thinking.
Oh yes, yeah.
Yeah, some fancy
And
stuff.
then if you go with Fangs of Sotek, you get the parting shot command ability, where they leave and then shoot as they're leaving.
That's cool. That's cool.
Which I think
Bye-bye.
that's really
Nice. That's awesome.
you choose a unit of skinks that are within range. They can retreat and then they also shoot.
But they have to be charged. That has been FAQ.
Yes.
So if they don't get charged, you don't get to do that. But if they get charged, then you get to leave and shoot. Overwatch.
That's really cool though. So looking else
really
here. How are you feeling about these bound endless spells?
Oh, jeez. So I've watched a few battle reports using those, and depending on the battle plan that you're playing, they can be ridiculous for controlling the field so much. Just someone putting down like a Ravnak's Jaws and a Aether Void Pendulum and the Shackle, the Shackle's on Predatory, but putting down like predatory spells and having your opponent not be able to do anything with them. It's just like, okay, cool, I don't mind going first or second now because you have to deal with this.
That's true. So the bound means like during the turns or whatever, they can't move it. Only you can.
Yeah.
But you can still dispel them, right?
The Seraphon have all the general endless spells that came with what was it, Milan
Alliance Sorcery.
Yeah.
Milan Sorcery. Thank you. They have all of those, and they are then bound to the Seraphon. So when a Seraphon wizard summons one, only the Seraphon wizard can move it, or only the player with the Seraphon wizards can move it, which makes playing against Seraphon very difficult if they're running a lot of endless spells, which they will.
Yes.
Mm.
As
Well,
an
Griffins get the
will.
same ability, but we don't have that choice. We don't have that variety.
Yeah.
You have so many things you can pick from. It's actually amazing.
So are there any
All of a
that
sudden,
stand
even
out?
with sun, when you are the only one who can control a purple sun, that there's nothing that's
Yeah.
gonna go wrong.
And,
Like
and that,
definitely, I would now field a purple sun. I've never done it before. Now I am tempted to, because I have full control over where it's going to go. One of the things that I really want to try and do is, and I might need to like run this through the rules committee, but so Slan, including Lord Croak, can cast anywhere with through a skink oracle on a troglodyte. Anywhere on the battlefield. So, if you can summon an Aether Void
make it
Pendulum
right.
from a troglodyte that you've teleported, I think that would be tremendous.
I don't see why
But
not.
you can. I mean, it's
Yeah, I think that it seems.
That's perfect
if
because
your
the
opponent leaves
pendulum.
a spot open for you to teleport the troglodyte. I mean, tough.
But I mean, the pendulum's actually a very nice one for it because once you've launched the pendulum, that's it. You know, it's a once-off missile.
Yep.
But it's a guaranteed D6 mortal wounds. So
All along the battle.
yeah,
Well, like a line of battle
Yeah.
where I've tar pit your whatever it is with warriors or skinks or something, and there comes the Aether Void Pendulum.
exactly. It's one of my
That is
favorites. I love it
100%
because
Yeah.
I've always found taking it, putting it, and going, there's that one hero who just wouldn't die.
Oof. Chopping him in half.
Straight
Fucking
pendulum straight
imagine.
to his face. And I've never gotten anything less than 4 with that, so good times.
Yeah, that's. You can do the old school fantasy. I've got to do it in your sideline, hitting all your blocks with a pit of shades or something.
It used to be purple sun on your side.
Yeah.
Demon Prince, purple sun, whoop, Kamehameha, done.
Yeah, just like blah, 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 blah. Pac-Man across, just chowing everything.
Waka 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 waka.
Yep.
And you know what the thing is Ravenek's matching jaws was supposed to be the Pac-Man, but it doesn't do it as well.
I mean, it gives him
D3.
bonuses, so yeah.
Oh yeah, true. It does. Makes everyone angry.
The purple sun is you roll a dice for each model, and on a 6, the model dies if it has less than 5 wounds, right? And it takes d6. If you roll a 6, it takes like 2d6 wounds or something, I believe.
I have them.
Ooh.
They actually come in the Battletome.
That's also real sick.
Yeah, so every single bound spell is in the Battletome. It's
Nice.
They want to like encourage you to buy that.
That
box.
that box, yeah.
No,
It is a good box.
Do
though.
Look, I
they
didn't need money.
include the stuff from
each
the
unit
other
you roll
one?
for each 6, one model in the unit is slain. If the unit has a wound characteristic of 6 or more, for each it gets 2d6 more wounds. So
2d6
if the
more
model
wounds.
dies
Yeah.
on a hit, if the unit itself has a characteristic of
What?
It's roll a dice for each model, right? Though.
but then, okay, hold
Yeah.
on a second.
Roll a dice for each
Confused.
model in that unit. For each 6, one model in that unit is slain. If the unit has a wounds characteristic of 6 or more, each 6 it suffers 2d6 more wounds. So it's still a lot of damage.
But if you then go on something with like 60 zombies, right?
Yeah.
The unit characteristic is 60 wounds.
No.
Unit characteristic.
The unit's characteristic on its data sheet is 1 wound.
Yeah, that's what it's looking at.
Oh, that's what it's looking at, not like total wound
Like
characteristic.
it's on an army.
That's the wound characteristic of that type of unit.
Yeah.
I don't know what are there any units that have multiple models that are 6 wounds or
Trolls.
more? Trolls are 3. 4 wounds.
Varangard.
Or 5.
Varangard are 6.
Giants are 12, but like
Prothean guys.
Oh yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's more
The
to deal
dragons.
with.
it's more for big models. I
I
think
think
it's
it's
like
more to just prepare for people who have low unit count, no model count armies. Like, what are they? Beastclaw Raiders. Like,
Yeah.
on the 6, you lost your whole Frost Lord.
yeah, it's more for like you hit this over a giant or a
Like,
dragon of some sort.
Slow
Or,
that down a little bit.
Yeah.
yeah, it's like
No, that'll-
Against 60 zombies, I'm okay rolling 60 dice, but
Yeah.
on that one dice roll for that poor guy who has to lose his Stonehorn or whatever to the purple sun.
it's like yeah. Here's a giant purple statue of Archeon. Pshunk. Oh, whoops.
Exactly.
Don't say words
Now
like
the
that.
world's largest repository of
Those are fighting words there.
I mean,
Those are real fighting
everyone
words.
wants
That
to-
doesn't happen. No.
I mean, no, Darren. There are not. Those are not fighting words because on a 4+ you go, no you.
Still,
If you run
it's me rolling. Or you.
and you're like, I rolled a 6. I'm like, I took this 1 in 36 games. So this thing will happen. You can't.
Yes.
So you're
50-50. It's a 1 in 72 games. Yeah.
Archeon in Disciple of Siege, and then you have your 4+ on the side.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
No,
And then you just have fun. Yes. Those fake dice of joy.
Speaking of
Mm.
killing Archeon with Seraphon related things, which now all interspells are. Lord Croak no longer has his I'm going to change dice.
Oh. Do you
That is
remember
now-
that day?
That is now not a thing that he does. Both him and the normal Slan have foresight, except for Lord Croak, it's impeccable foresight, and it just gives you command points.
So that's a really good
you roll
ability.
2 dice, and on 4 up with a Slan, you get 2 command points. With Lord Croak, it's 3 dice.
Huh.
And then there's a lot of different ways to generate command points as well for the army. Every skink, I think, gives you command points, like D3 command points or something. There's just a lot of different ways of generating a lot of command points. And then if you field something like Kotal's Claw, the allegiance ability for them is on a 4-up, you get back the command point that you just spent.
Is the army hungry? Like command points hungry?
It can be. There's a lot of different heroes that really want to buff units in particular phases. Like if you run a Saurus heavy army, there is going to be a lot of, in the combat phase, I want my Wrath of the Seraphon command ability from my Old Blood, giving my that unit of 40 Sauruses a buff in there. I think it's fair to hit, you +1 to the hit. And then the Scar Veteran does something as well that can really put up the command points there. And then your Slan also, their general command ability is everyone gets flying and reroll and gets +1 to their saves in the shooting phase. There's not a lot of shooting armies except for maybe Caradron, but it really helps. Or against catapults.
Or the you've also got the new skink on a pterodactyl that gives you +1 attack to all pterodactyls within rhipidactyls, whatever, within range, which is like a good buff as well. But it's good that
you're running like one of those shadow strikes or something.
So, from this competitive kind of list, what would you do? Say 2,000 points competitive list.
If we are talking about a game of trying to capture points, which we almost always will be, those like neutral general's handbook sort of battle plans are all about capturing points. First of all, I'd go Starborn, possibly Dracothorn's Tail, because you get more in reserve. Start off with the Lord Croak, because his points have come down. And why would you have
because he's glorious. Exactly.
Definitely take the cogs. You are then going to want to have a
Vortex?
Vortex as well, probably.
maybe a vortex. I don't know, because you might want, like, you can always establish a little beachhead with the vortex and the cogs. But remember that more spell doesn't equal more summoning points anymore. So you're going to want to have... You do get the extra range, but Slans sometimes don't need it. Because I would also take a Troglodon, which you can then cast through anywhere on the board. Lord Croak has Celestial Deliverance.
Yeah, he does.
From the Trog. Which
Waves
is the big
of death.
explosion.
Oh my gosh, you can cast a Celestial... Oh gosh.
That's why he's ridiculous,
Deliverance through the Troglodon.
and why he's like frowned upon by players. Because it used to be 9 inches or something, and every unit within range, and then if it's demons, it takes 3 damage instead of D3.
Yeah.
And on a roll or something. But now it's you choose 3 units. On a 2+, they take D3 mortal wounds. If they're demons, they take 3. So that's just
Oh.
so the big scary, like the big why Lord Croak is one of the killy ones is because he just goes, that hero over there, that hero over there, that hero over there.
That's it. Assassinate the heroes. Done.
Two turns, and you can not even 2 turns. You can cast it 3 times. Yes. So cast on 7, cast on a 7, cast on 8, cast on 9.
Exactly.
7, 8, 9. Getting the cogs and the cogs don't give you a +1 to casting.
No, they get you cost an extra.
Tailwind,
Yes.
and then the Slan does that himself anyway. All Slan have a +1 to unbind and cast.
Yeah.
So if you
Correct.
can get a in their lore, their spell lore actually, they have another spell called, I think it's Celestial Equilibrium, where every wizard in your army, I don't know if it's in a range or not, I'd have to double check, but the wizards that are affected by it, they get +1, except for the wizard that casts the spell. So you can easily get Lord Croak up to a +3.
And then
have the Troglodon somewhere, and it's going to be very unpleasant. But always remember that you can definitely surround Lord Croak with some Temple Guard, which have been improved, by the way, in exactly the ways that I told you they would.
Oh no.
2 wounds, right?
2 wounds and 4 up save.
Oh.
They're
gosh.
They're no longer mortal wound fodder.
Oh man.
So have a nice little bubble there, and then use skinks to control the board as much as you can.
That's
And
brilliant.
always remember that you're going to be generating celestial conjuration points, so you can build out what you need depending on what your opponent brings.
And also, like,
If we're looking at capturing points, definitely bring in more Sauruses. If you're looking at keeping the opponent away from something, then just start dropping something, saving up and dropping things like Stegodons and Bastillodons.
I think we just lost you.
no, it's
No, no, I got
Actually,
you.
I'm looking forward to play Seraphons with my phone request. I really want to.
I will watch that game.
the problem comes is like,
Yeah.
it's like cool. Your 10-man squads are just going to melt. It's like screw the heroes.
Some more.
I mean, you can't. I mean, once he kills them all, they're dead. Yeah, so he's gonna go 3 waves. That squad and that squad and that hero. That squad, that hero. That squad, that hero. It's like
Well,
cool.
that's 3d3
Yeah,
mortal
but
wounds
you
per
forget-
one
gotta-
you
You
choose.
forget that I have a cold Nagash. So
I mean, if you're gonna run the gash, like
Yeah,
for
okay.
sure,
Then we
you're only
look
gonna
at
have
different-
2 squads.
When you got
Nagash
Spellcaster
and 2
versus
squads, so it's
Spellcaster,
fine.
see what happens. Nagash and 2 squads, exactly.
But that-
There's 2,000 points.
That's why I say it has to be with a battle plan, and it also has to be with terrain. Because I never used to play with like terrain rules, honestly. Like I never did. But now the Seraphon are all about the terrain, especially if you go with the Realm Shaper engine with the Coalesced.
The Realm
Because the
Shaper
Coalesced
engine.
they ignore all the
negative.
bad terrain rules in their half of the board, and you can't get any of the beneficial terrain rules when you're in their half of the board.
I've had
and
the
the
picture of the
Realm
Realm
Shaper
Shaper engine
makes-
loaded for the last few minutes waiting for a conversation about it. So there it is, it's on.
Yeah, there it is. That damn Realm Shaper engine. If they can get a wizard into it, they can use it to make any terrain feature on the board deal the 3 mortal wounds to anything around it.
What?
Basically, like explodes with vines and
Oh, brilliant.
carnivorous plants and brambles and things, as it turns into like this sort of lustrian jungle, and it damages people as a result. Like trees just go through.
I'm like, this reminds.
Death by tree.
I definitely need to make like terrain cards, because now there's the new ones in the 2019 General's Handbook.
Yeah?
They have the original 6 and then the
Oh,
am
all
I
the
dead?
other
Am I dead? No, yeah.
terrain.
Am I still
benefit
there?
things. Yeah.
Okay. Everyone
You
else
are.
is
Your
just
voice
blankly
is
staring
really
at me.
good. You look like Elsa.
Yeah, so like that's the
Yeah, your video's gone.
my videos. What's going on?
Frozen.
That's alright, we can still hear you.
I can still hear because it's still there. So that's
Yeah,
fine.
exactly. Like,
I just
This is-
as
this
long as
is
I'm in
the
a good.
picture
I'm just
Brad has
blanking.
on his-
There he
Huh?
is.
Damn it! That's a weird face I'm making. Anyway, making cards for each of the terrain, because there's the dice. I don't think that GW makes them anymore.
The terrain does.
Yeah, and there's only 6 because also there's now 9 or 12 trees of terrain, different types. So the dice no longer work. But
They're just gonna make
worth
them
having a look.
Yeah. Well, I think we're kind of reaching near the end of today's one over there. We've had a lot of awesome stuff. Let us finish off with... Okay, you've mentioned the models you enjoy. Everyone's mentioned what they're loving out of this. What should we say? Okay, no one has yet guessed what model.
An army.
Yeah, what army Mr. Man wants to be. So that prize is still up in the air. But yeah,
Come on, guys.
your top 3 wizards in the game. Andrea, what's your top 3 wizards in the game? Your
Top three
favorites.
wizard in the game.
Yeah, your top 3 wizards. Don't worry about who, like rules wise, just your top 3.
Okay.
Oh, I can't
One
hear
has
that
to be
anymore.
Nagash. Just because it's Nagash. Then I'm gonna say Kairos because in theory he's the master of the war.
I'm just sitting in silence. Tell me what they say. They can hear me.
Who else? Top 3 wizards. I think seeing Teclis has to take the third. Like not maybe in that order, but it's in that case. But like lore-wise, because Teclis has always been like really knowledgeable in magic, so that's probably that. Nagash, Kairos, and Teclis. Those 3. Personally, at least.
Okay. So Nagash, Kairos, Teclis. Carl, who would you go for?
Look, I'm tempted to just say all 3 on Lord Croak. Just because, first of all,
Because he's listening.
lore-wise, Lord Croak is the coolest because he died and then
Hey, we have
decided
Brad.
to stop being dead.
He decided
Yeah,
to
true.
stop being dead. Yeah. That's,
He was just like, yeah, I'm gonna help out. I'm feeling a little bored. I'm just gonna come out of retirement, do
Yeah.
some more stuff as a skeleton nerd. So Lord Croak takes the top place for me.
I ain't dead yet. Bring out the dead.
Yeah, exactly. Like definitely Nagash has to feature on the list because he's just crazy. Like if you have an army of books flying around you with ghosts coming out of them, I think that's a pretty cool wizard.
Yeah, that makes
Third place,
sense.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know who the third one would be.
Brad, yours.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Eldred doesn't count.
Eldrad is best wizard.
I was thinking it's like my armies are just. I'd have to go outside of orcs and goblins.
What? You have the best wizard ever.
I have Wurzag,
The one that someone like.
the foot of
Oh, wait, I
Gork.
know my third.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I know my third. Sorry, Brad. My apologies. Arcan. Oh, definitely Arcan.
Arcan the Black. Good choice.
Just
Good
because
choice.
that Curse of Years that he does is the best thing ever.
Oof.
You know, it has been nerfed.
Yeah,
I know, but it's just got the coolest name. Who
That
cares what it does?
cray that one.
Oh,
Go with okay. So my 3 will go Wargog Prophet because
Yeah.
he fists of Gork and just punches you in the face, a whole squad of you, and he's wearing a cool mask, or at least my one is. So it's Crash Bandicooting around. Hey. Go with. It's like Scraggot the Loon King, just because
Yeah.
he's like a cool wizard, but like it's between him and like the Madcap Shaman. No, Madcap Shaman. What's the old ones? Where it's like you used to eat mushrooms and then you get powerful or you get comatose, which was always fun. But like
Powerful or comatose? These are the options, people.
like all good wizards, you need to risk it for the biscuit,
Yeah.
or for the mushroom in this case.
I mean, biscuit still works probably.
It's infused.
We're starting to lose our kids' rating.
Yeah,
Not that we ever had
we
one.
don't have a kid rating.
Yes.
This is no longer E for everyone.
Yeah, for everyone. But then like Techless now is just so good as far as like
Who?
Techless.
Teclis is cool. Yeah.
He's just shining there, just doing the like laser beams from high-ish. So we're going to see more of him hopefully.
Did
Or
you
I know
know?
like
Me? I like to ask the questions. No, I'd say the 3 best wizards in Sigmar.
Gaunt
are
Summoner's on there somewhere.
definitely the Gaunt Summoner. Gaunt Summoner number 3. Yeah, he's cool. Gaunt Summoner number 5 is pretty cool as well. Actually, they're both great. And then there's Gaunt Summoner number 2. He's no 7. Seven's better than definitely. I'd go for him because
there is no,
I forgot their names.
Let's face it, because it's Tinge, there is no number 7.
Exactly.
It's like no 7, no 8.
There is no 7.
It's just like
I am number 7. Blam.
Eight just lost all his power. He's just
like,
gaunt.
He's just a Gaunt. No,
He doesn't have any summoning.
I definitely say the Gaunt Summoners as one unit would definitely be the best wizard ever because they're insane. They're just absolutely
Point
insane.
of vision.
I've got to agree with Nagash.
They are the cheapest wizard in the game.
Yes, they're the best. Nagash, I'd say, is probably in there as well. Yeah, because I mean, he's a mad scientist. There's nothing more funny than a wizard who doesn't know what the hell he's doing. You know.
If you're going wizards who don't know what they're doing, you got Skaven.
Those aren't wizards. Those are experimenters, Graciers.
No, they go. The Grey Seers are their wizards. Oh no, right, the Rocket guys.
There we go. Thanquol. He's
Thanquol.
number 3.
Oh.
Yeah, he's the best. Yes.
Number 3.
Yeah,
Okay.
definitely. Well, no, that was a lot of fun. Thank you very much.
They're all number 3, so it's like the Gaunt Summoner, Thanquol, all sitting at 3rd place,
No,
tied.
the Gaunt Summoners are number 1.
Oh, Gaunt Summoner number 1.
Yeah.
I was thinking, yeah, that's...
Yeah, the Gaunt Summoners in total. Guys, thank you very much. This has been a lot of fun and a lot of crazy times. Thank you very much, Lord Carl, for joining us tonight. Thank you to everyone who watched and just was with us and stuck around and laughed at us and didn't say anything. And yes, thank you very much for everything, guys. Chill. Cheers. Check you later.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Sounds funny. I think we're unmuted.
Are we still?